My brothers and sisters, today I want you to reflect deeply. How many times have you looked at someone else's life and felt less? How many times have you compared your journey with theirs, only to lose your own peace? Remember, comparison is a thief of joy. Allah has written your story differently, and your chapter is not meant to look like anyone else's. The key is to focus on your journey, not theirs, because the blessings meant for you will never miss you, and the blessings meant for them will never reach you. Today, let's rediscover the beauty of living your own path. Comparison steals peace and gratitude, because it shifts the heart and mind from what Allah has given to what Allah has given others. When a person constantly looks at the blessings, successes, or possessions of someone else, the natural tendency is to feel that what they have is not enough, that their life is incomplete, and that somehow they are falling behind. This mindset creates restlessness, as the heart begins to crave more and more, even if one already has abundance. The reality is that peace comes from contentment, and contentment comes from recognizing and valuing the blessings you already have. The moment you allow yourself to compare, you rob your own soul of that satisfaction. Gratitude is replaced by envy, appreciation is replaced by resentment, and calmness is replaced by an endless chase for what others have. When you compare, you forget that every single person's journey is tailored specifically by Allah. You may see someone ahead of you in wealth, but perhaps they are struggling in health. You may see someone successful in their career, but perhaps their family life is breaking apart. You may see someone traveling the world, but perhaps they are crying at night because of loneliness. Outwardly, everyone displays the highlights of their life, but no one shows the silent battles, the tears, or the tests they endure. Comparison is unfair, because you are looking at another person's best moments and putting them next to your own struggles. You measure your behind the scenes with their highlight reel, and in that process, you lose your gratitude for the unique journey Allah has given you. Gratitude is the key to peace. When you recognize that the air you breathe, the food you eat, the family you have, the health you wake up with, and the faith you hold on to are blessings, you begin to see life differently. A grateful person is not blind to the achievements of others, but they are not consumed by them. Instead, they look at others and say Alhamdulillah for what Allah gave them, and Alhamdulillah for what Allah gave me. The heart that is grateful cannot be shaken by the success of another person, because it knows that Allah's treasures are unlimited. What someone else has does not reduce what Allah can give you. If anything, it should remind you of the greatness of Allah's power to provide and His wisdom in distributing sustenance as He wills. The loss of gratitude through comparison also damages relationships. A person who is envious cannot sincerely celebrate others. They struggle to show joy when someone else achieves something good, and this poisons the heart with jealousy. The Prophet Muhammad taught us that true faith is to love for your brother what you love for yourself. Comparison contradicts this principle because instead of wishing well for others, it creates a hidden competition. The one who compares lives in a constant state of dissatisfaction, always feeling behind, never at peace, and never truly happy with what they have. Everyone's journey is written by Allah differently, and this reality is one of the greatest reminders of His wisdom and mercy. No two lives are identical, no two stories unfold in the same way, and no two people are tested in exactly the same circumstances. What Allah has decreed for one person may look completely different from what He has decreed for another, yet both are perfectly tailored for their capacity, their strengths, and their spiritual growth. When you remember that your life is not meant to mirror the life of anyone else, you begin to understand that comparison is meaningless. Allah, the one who created you, knows your exact needs, your exact limits, and the exact timing of everything that is destined for you. Sometimes people struggle when they see others achieving milestones earlier or faster, whether it is marriage, wealth, recognition, or success. But what appears to be a delay in your life may actually be a form of protection or preparation from Allah. If something has not yet come your way, it is not because you are deprived, but because your journey has been designed differently. A student in school may get their results on the same day as others, but the subjects, the marks, and the experiences differ for each one. Life is similar, everyone sits the test, but the questions are unique to each soul. Comparing your paper to someone else's only distracts you from answering what has been given to you. The Quran itself reminds us that Allah has raised some people above others in certain provisions, in order to test both groups. The one who has been given more is tested with gratitude, humility, and generosity. The one who has been given less is tested with patience, trust, and contentment. The external differences are not a measure of worth in the sight of Allah, but rather a reflection of the unique test that each person carries. This understanding should remove the urge to compare, because even if someone has what you desire, they are carrying a different weight, a different trial, and a different accountability. When you truly believe that Allah has written your journey differently, you learn to embrace your lane without anxiety. You stop rushing to match the pace of others, and instead walk steadily on the path designed for you. The comparisons fade, because you know that no one can outrun the destiny Allah has written for them, and no one can delay the blessings that are written for you. The Prophet Muhammad reminded us that what has passed you by was never meant to reach you, and what reaches you was never meant to miss you. This certainty gives the heart peace, and allows the soul to focus on what matters most, pleasing Allah in whatever state you are placed in. Focus on personal growth, not competition. Because real success is not measured by being ahead of others, but by being ahead of who you were yesterday. The moment you start viewing life as a race against people, you lose the essence of what growth really means. You may think you are winning when you surpass someone, but in reality, you could still be failing if you are not becoming a better version of yourself. Growth is about progress in your own journey, in your character, in your faith, and in your purpose. Competing with others traps you in a cycle of endless comparison, while focusing on yourself frees you to discover your true potential. Personal growth begins when you recognize your strengths and weaknesses, without the lens of comparison. If you constantly measure your value against others, you will never truly identify where you need to improve. Some people may excel in skills you do not have, but that does not mean you are behind. You might carry abilities, talents, or qualities they lack. Allah has distributed gifts differently, so the task is not to compete with the gifts of others, but to polish the gifts within yourself. A flower does not compete with the tree beside it, yet both beautify the garden in their own way. The same is true for human beings. Focusing on growth also means setting internal standards instead of external ones. Ask yourself if you are more patient today than you were yesterday. If you have shown more kindness this week compared to last week. If you have strengthened your connection with Allah compared to last year. These are the benchmarks that matter, because they bring fulfillment and real progress. Competing with others will only bring temporary satisfaction, because no matter how far you go, there will always be someone ahead of you in some aspect of life. But when you compete with yourself, the race never ends, and every step forward feels meaningful. One of the dangers of competing with others is that it shifts your intention. Instead of working hard for the sake of Allah, you may find yourself working hard just to prove something to people. This pursuit is empty because people's opinions change constantly, and their praise is never guaranteed. But when you focus on personal growth, your efforts are rooted in sincerity. You want to improve because it is pleasing to Allah, not because it looks impressive to others. This intention gives your actions weight in the sight of your Creator, and it brings an inner satisfaction that competition can never provide. Life becomes lighter when you stop competing with others. You begin to cheer for people instead of resenting their success. You begin to share in joy instead of drowning in jealousy. You focus on planting seeds in your own soil, rather than envying the harvest in someone else's field. Growth is a personal journey, and each small step matters. As long as you are moving forward, you are succeeding. Even if no one else notices, blessings are unique and divinely timed, because Allah in His infinite wisdom does not give every blessing to every person in the same way or at the same moment. What you receive, when you receive it, and how you receive it is not a coincidence. It is part of a perfect plan designed by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. The human heart often wants things immediately, it seeks results quickly, and it craves to see the fruits of effort without delay. But Allah knows what is best for you, and when it is best for you. And this is why some blessings appear later in life, some come unexpectedly, and some are withheld altogether. What you see as delay may be protection, and what you see as denial may actually be substitution with something far better. When you compare your life to others, you forget this essential truth. You may see someone getting married earlier, while you are still waiting. You may see someone becoming wealthy, while you are still struggling. Or you may see someone achieving recognition while you feel unnoticed. The heart begins to question, why not me? Why is my life not moving forward the way theirs is? But the reality is that each person's blessing is uniquely timed for their journey. If Allah has delayed something for you, it is because He knows the exact moment when that blessing will be a mercy rather than a burden. If you were to receive it too soon, you might not appreciate it, you might misuse it, or you might even be destroyed by it. But when it comes at the right time, it comes with stability, with wisdom, and with the capacity to handle it. The uniqueness of blessings is also a reminder that life is not meant to look identical for everyone. One person may be blessed with abundant wealth but struggle with health. Another may have excellent health but live in simplicity. One person may be blessed with knowledge but live without family, while another may be blessed with a large family but have little time for study. This balance is part of Allah's divine system. No one is given everything, and no one is deprived of everything. Everyone carries a share of both ease and hardship, both gifts and tests. If blessings were distributed equally, life would lose its meaning as a test, and the wisdom of Allah's decree would not be manifest. Another aspect of blessings being unique and divinely timed is that they are connected to your inner readiness. Sometimes a person is not emotionally, spiritually, or mentally prepared for what they are asking for. They may pray for success, but success might test their ego in ways that would break them if given too early. They may pray for wealth, but wealth might corrupt their heart if it arrived before they had learned discipline and generosity. They may pray for marriage, but marriage might crumble if they have not yet developed patience and understanding. Allah delays certain blessings until you grow into the person who can carry them without being destroyed by them. In this way, the waiting period is not wasted time. It is a time of preparation, growth and purification. Blessings also arrive in ways that you may not always recognize. Sometimes you are given what you prayed for directly, and you see it as a clear answer. Other times you are given something different that you may not have asked for, but in hindsight, you realize it was better than what you desired. A person may pray for wealth, but Allah grants them peace of mind instead, which is far greater than money. A person may pray for recognition, but Allah grants them sincere relationships, which are more lasting than fame. A person may pray for an opportunity, but Allah closes one door only to open another that leads to more goodness. When you understand that blessings are unique, you begin to see that what others have does not reduce your share, and what you lack is not necessarily a loss. The divine timing of blessings also teaches patience and trust. The Prophet Muhammad said that the affairs of a believer are always good. If something desirable comes, they are grateful, and if hardship comes, they are patient, and both are good for them. This means that even in delay, there is a blessing, because the delay builds patience, reliance on Allah, and the ability to surrender to His will. Sometimes the process of waiting itself is the blessing, because it purifies the heart, strengthens faith, and removes arrogance. In fact, the sweetness of receiving something after a long wait is far greater than receiving it instantly. The joy is deeper, the gratitude is stronger, and the connection with Allah becomes firmer. When you constantly compare, you lose sight of this divine wisdom. You see only the surface. Someone got their blessing quickly, and you did not. But what you cannot see are the unseen details behind the timing. Perhaps their blessing will test them in ways you cannot imagine. Perhaps their journey required that blessing at that exact moment. Perhaps your delay is saving you from heartbreak, from failure, or from a test you are not ready for. Trusting in Allah's timing means surrendering to the unseen wisdom that He alone knows. Gratitude plays a central role in embracing the uniqueness of blessings. When you appreciate what you already have, you attract more goodness into your life, as Allah promises in the Quran. If you are grateful, I will surely increase you. This increase may come in the form of material blessings, or it may come in the form of peace, joy and closeness to Allah. But when you complain, when you compare, and when you fail to see the value in what you already possess, you block yourself from appreciating the beauty of your unique path. Gratitude opens your eyes to the blessings already present, some of which you may have taken for granted, like health, family, guidance, or even the gift of waking up each day with another chance to live with purpose. It is also important to realize that blessings are not always outward or material. Sometimes the greatest blessings are inward: a heart at peace, faith that remains strong through trials, wisdom that grows from hardship, or resilience that allows you to recover from loss. These inner blessings cannot be compared or measured against others, and they often carry more value than the external gifts people chase. A wealthy person with no peace is poorer than a content person with little wealth. A famous person with no sincerity is more lost than an unknown person who lives with integrity. When you focus on the uniqueness of blessings, you stop measuring your life by the standards of the world and start valuing what truly matters in the sight of Allah. Ultimately, recognizing that blessings are unique and divinely timed allows you to live with contentment. You no longer rush your life to keep up with others, you no longer resent what others have, and you no longer lose yourself in the trap of comparison. Instead, you accept that your story is unfolding exactly as it was written, that your blessings will arrive exactly when they are meant to, and that your portion is perfectly designed for you by the Lord, who never makes mistakes. Trust Allah's plan over people's progress, because the foundation of true peace in life is knowing that your destiny lies not in the hands of people, society, or circumstances, but in the hands of the one who created you, sustains you, and guides you. Human beings often measure progress by external achievements, promotions, wealth, or recognition, and in this measurement they assume that those ahead are successful, and those behind are failing. But Allah's measure is entirely different, because what appears as progress to the world may in fact be a trial, and what appears as delay or setback may actually be divine protection and mercy. Trusting Allah's plan means you stop chasing validation from people, and instead anchor your heart to the certainty that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you cannot understand it in the present moment. When you compare your life to the apparent progress of others, your heart begins to feel restless. You see them moving forward, and you feel stuck. You see them gaining recognition, and you feel invisible. You see them achieving their dreams, and you feel left behind. But what if the very thing you envy in their life is part of a test that you are being spared from? What if the slow pace you dislike in your journey is actually preparing you for a greater blessing than you imagined? What if the plan that looks delayed is the plan that will ultimately protect your faith, your peace, and your long-term happiness? Trusting Allah requires shifting from the narrow view of immediate appearances to the broader vision of divine wisdom, a wisdom that encompasses what you see and what you cannot see, what you desire and what you may not even know you need. People's progress can be deceptive. A person may look ahead in wealth but may be drowning in debt and stress. A person may look ahead in marriage but may be struggling in silence. A person may look ahead in career but may be losing their health and sacrificing their family. Outward success can mask inward emptiness, and outward progress can sometimes hide inner destruction. Allah sees what the world does not see. He knows what you do not know, and He places you in circumstances that are designed to be exactly right for your soul's growth. By trusting His plan, you liberate yourself from the illusion of measuring your life against others, and instead focus on becoming the person Allah wants you to become. Another reason to trust Allah's plan over people's progress is that Allah controls both the pace and the outcome of your journey. You may try everything in your ability, and still things do not happen according to your timeline. You may plan in detail, work tirelessly, and yet the result may differ from your expectations. At such moments, it is easy to feel disappointed when you see others moving ahead, but faith reminds you that outcomes are not in your hands. They are in Allah's. The Quran reminds us that Allah is the best of planners, and His plan never fails. A delayed blessing is not a denied blessing, it is simply being positioned at the right time, and in the right way for your benefit. People's progress may make you feel behind, but if you look deeper, you will realize that no one can ever outrun the decree of Allah. Trusting Allah's plan also means recognizing that life is not a straight path of worldly progress. The purpose of life is not to outdo others in wealth, achievements, or recognition, but to succeed in faith, patience, gratitude, and submission. People may achieve worldly milestones but fail in their connection with Allah, and in the ultimate scale of success, this is not progress at all. On the other hand, someone who looks slow to the world but is steadily building sincerity, resilience, and closeness to Allah is in fact progressing in the true sense. The Prophet Muhammad reminded us that true richness is not the abundance of possessions, but the richness of the soul. When you internalize this, you stop worrying about being behind others and start focusing on enriching your heart. Trusting Allah's plan requires patience, and patience is not just waiting. It is waiting with acceptance, without resentment, without constantly questioning why others seem ahead while you are not. It is surrendering to the idea that Allah knows something you do not, and that His timing is perfect, even if it challenges your desires. Many people live in bitterness because they cannot accept that life did not unfold the way they imagined. But those who place trust in Allah find serenity even in delays. They know that every detour, every pause, and every change of direction has a purpose, even if that purpose only becomes clear years later. An important truth to remember is that people's progress has no impact on your share from Allah. His treasures are unlimited, and His generosity is not diminished by blessing someone else. If someone else receives their blessing before you, it does not mean your blessing is gone. Your portion is secure, written, and will reach you when the time is right. The Prophet I said that what has reached you was never meant to miss you, and what has missed you was never meant to reach you. This reminder anchors the heart, because it affirms that no human being can take away what Allah has written for you, no system can block it, and no delay can erase it. People's progress may inspire you, but it should never make you doubt your own path, because your path has been designed by the Lord of the worlds. There is also great freedom in trusting Allah's plan. When you detach from people's opinions, comparisons, and measures of progress, you live lighter. You stop burdening yourself with the pressure to match someone else's timeline. You stop resenting what you do not have, and you stop doubting your worth based on external markers of success. Instead, you begin to value each step of your journey, no matter how small it looks. You begin to see growth in hidden ways, in patience, in gratitude, in resilience, in your connection with Allah. You stop running after people's applause and start running toward Allah's pleasure. This shift transforms your life from anxiety to tranquility, from jealousy to gratitude, from frustration to contentment. Trusting Allah's plan does not mean you stop striving. It means you strive with sincerity, give your best, but leave the results to Him. You do not tie your happiness to whether or not you reach milestones at the same pace as others, but you tie your happiness to the effort you make and the trust you place in Allah's wisdom. This balance keeps you grounded. You work hard without being consumed by comparison, and you wait patiently without losing hope. You know that Allah is closer to you than your jugular vein, that He hears every prayer, and that He never abandons those who rely on Him. Trust in Allah's plan is a shield against the poison of envy. When you see others progressing, instead of feeling left out, you remind yourself that their path is different from yours, their test is different from yours, and their timing is different from yours. You can make dua for them sincerely, knowing that their success does not threaten yours. You can celebrate them without resentment, because you know that Allah has a unique portion waiting for you. In fact, celebrate others without losing yourself, because when you develop the ability to sincerely rejoice at the success, happiness, or blessings of another person, you protect your heart from envy and bitterness. One of the most powerful signs of a healthy soul is the ability to see someone else rise, while you remain content with your own place. This does not mean ignoring your ambitions or neglecting your dreams. It means recognizing that someone else's blessing is not a threat to your own, and that their journey does not diminish yours in any way. When you celebrate others, you strengthen relationships, you purify your intentions, and you remind yourself that Allah's treasures are infinite, and that what is given to one does not limit what can be given to another. Many people fall into the trap of comparison, because they confuse another person's progress with their own stagnation. They see someone else achieving and feel that they are failing. They see someone else's life moving forward, and assume their own life is stuck. This mindset creates jealousy and resentment, which eats away at peace and contentment. But when you train your heart to celebrate others, you free yourself from this destructive cycle. You begin to see life not as a competition, but as a collection of unique journeys, where everyone is tested in different ways, and everyone is blessed in different ways. Instead of measuring your worth against others, you focus on your own growth while cheering for theirs. The beauty of celebrating others lies in the fact that it does not cost you anything but brings immense reward. When you congratulate someone, make dua for their continued success, or show genuine happiness for their blessing, you earn Allah's pleasure. You align yourself with the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad who taught that a believer should love for his brother what he loves for himself. This principle builds communities of support instead of rivalry, it builds trust instead of jealousy, and it builds love instead of resentment. When your heart feels joy for another's achievement, you reflect the purity of faith and the humility that comes from knowing that everything is from Allah. At the same time, celebrating others should not mean losing yourself. It is possible to honor another person's journey while staying committed to your own. Many people fall into the mistake of becoming so consumed by admiration or comparison that they forget to nurture their own talents and gifts. They begin to mimic others, chase their lifestyles, and shape their goals around what they see instead of what truly suits their purpose. This leads to frustration, because no matter how much you copy someone else, you can never live their life, you can only live yours. Celebrating others means appreciating their blessings while remaining focused on your own unique path, developing your strengths, and embracing the story Allah has written for you. When you celebrate others without losing yourself, you create a balance between gratitude and ambition. Gratitude for what you already have prevents jealousy, while ambition for your own goals prevents stagnation. You are not threatened by what someone else has, because you know your own blessings are on the way, but you are also not complacent, because you continue to strive for your own progress. This balance keeps your heart clean, your mind focused, and your life purposeful. There is also a spiritual dimension to celebrating others. When you make dua for someone's blessing to increase, Angels respond by saying, Ameen, and for you the same. This means that every sincere prayer you make for someone else becomes a source of blessing for yourself as well. By celebrating others with sincerity, you open doors of mercy and goodness for yourself. You turn what could have been envy into an opportunity for reward, and what could have been resentment into a source of barakah. Losing yourself while admiring others is dangerous because it blinds you to your own potential. Every person has been given unique qualities, strengths, and opportunities by Allah, and when you spend all your energy focusing on someone else, you neglect what has been placed in your own hands. Instead of cultivating your gifts, you waste time wishing for theirs. This not only delays your growth but also creates a cycle of self-doubt and inadequacy. To celebrate others without losing yourself, you must remind yourself daily that your journey is purposeful, your blessings are written, and your value does not depend on comparison. A practical way to apply this is to replace envy with inspiration. When you see someone succeeding, instead of asking, why not me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Let their progress motivate you, not depress you. If someone has strong faith, let it inspire you to strengthen yours. If someone excels in kindness, let it push you to be kinder. If someone achieves worldly success, let it remind you that hard work and patience bring results. In this way, celebrating others becomes a source of growth for yourself rather than a source of loss. Another important aspect of celebrating others without losing yourself is setting healthy boundaries in admiration. You can appreciate someone's journey without glorifying them to the point of forgetting your own identity. It is easy to put people on pedestals and believe that their life is perfect, but no one's life is without struggle. Everyone has unseen battles, and what looks like perfection from afar may carry hidden pain. By keeping this perspective, you avoid unhealthy obsession with others and maintain focus on your own lane. True celebration of others comes from a heart filled with contentment. When you are content with your own portion, you are able to appreciate someone else's portion without resentment. You see their blessing as a reminder of Allah's generosity, not as a threat to your own. This mindset allows you to build genuine connections with people, because your joy for them is real, not forced. Relationships thrive when jealousy is absent, and sincerity replaces rivalry. By celebrating others, you spread positivity and strengthen bonds, and by not losing yourself, you ensure that your journey remains authentic. When you live with this balance, life becomes lighter. You are no longer weighed down by comparison, nor are you trapped by self-doubt. You walk your path with confidence, while cheering for those walking theirs. You understand that life is not about surpassing others, but about fulfilling the role Allah has written for you. Celebrating others without losing yourself brings freedom, because you are no longer enslaved by envy, fear, or insecurity. You become grounded in gratitude, motivated by sincerity, and focused on what truly matters.